Cheers to 2026. This is our first episode, so happy New Year's. I just want to start the New Year's off with a bang, and I know everyone's setting resolutions. Everyone and their brother wants to lose fat right now, and I want to give you a free 33-page guide. I made my full fat loss guide. I've been told I should charge for this because it's so good. I paid a designer and everything, and it's just everything I believe from A to Z on how to lose fat and keep it off. I'm going to give that to you totally free. All you need to do to get it is message me Fat Loss Guide on Instagram. My Instagram is @ColossusFit, ColossusFit, and just message me Fat Loss Guide. I just want to do this as a way of giving back to start the year because I believe that's the way to operate. So go ahead, grab that totally free. Now into our first episode of 2026. Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. I'm your host and coach, Josh, bringing the top tier sound mixing and podcast hosting here with my co-host,
co-coach KG, and I am so fired up to have you here and for 2026.
And shout out to you for tuning in, starting the year off strong, starting the year off with great inputs. Like that's the way to operate. And obviously by this year, I want to challenge you to think high level, to aim big, to surround yourself with the best input. So we're here for you every Monday and Thursday, no matter what. We do not miss iTunes, YouTube, Spotify. We'll be here to fire you up and help you grow in your fitness, health, and happiness. This is Motivation Monday, where we get you fired up, answer your questions, share what's on our mind, and talk about all things fitness, health, and happiness. We're going to reach into the mailbag with our first question of the year. I hear that most people fail their resolutions. What do you guys do to make your goals stick?
Yeah, and this is a great question. I've been spending a lot of time thinking about this because I have failed a lot of goals in the past, especially when it comes to New Year's resolutions. I feel like those are typically the ones that I would fail just from making a lot of common mistakes in the past. Now, where I do personally see the most success is breaking it down. And honestly, having this conversation with one of my clients, Shelby, the other day, she sent me some screenshots of what she wanted to accomplish. And she even said this past year, I've actually accomplished like basically everything. She did a 50 kilometer run. She did ultra run. She did some incredible things on her journey, some weight loss goals, her wedding, all that stuff. And she said to me that she likes to set semi-annual goals. So like breaking it down a little bit more. And what I will say, when I actually think about it, I'm like, the main reason I've hit a lot of my goals in the past is taking a bigger goal that I have and breaking it down into something more bite-sized, something smaller, something that I can consistently see. So for example, if you have 50 pounds to lose and that's your goal this year, believe me, that is an incredible goal. I truly believe you'll get there. But if all you're focused on is 50 and then there's no other check-in points, there's no other monthly goal, like monthly, if you have a goal of losing 8 pounds, which is about 2 pounds per week, that's awesome. Like you're going to be able to check in, make sure you're doing everything right. You're seeing the consistent progress. You're getting motivated from that. You're able to celebrate that milestone and you're able to keep moving forward. So I'd say one of the biggest tips is whatever you want to do this year and whatever resolution you have, try to break it down into something such as semi-annual, which would be reflecting on it twice a year, but especially I find, and I know Josh will agree with this, monthly. Monthly is such a great place to be in terms of goal setting because at the end of the month, you just sit down, you reflect, you see how everything's going, and then you keep moving forward. So I'm going to have to say that is one of my biggest tips. And if you're not doing it, it's going to be very, very hard to succeed this year.
Yeah, one of my tips that might shock you is to be okay with failing your goals. I would say I fail maybe 75% of my yearly goals, and that's not for lack of trying. I just think if I set a goal to lose 5 pounds this year, I'm selling myself so short, it's not going to inspire me. I'm probably still going to fail it anyways, and I'm going to have no progress. Whereas if I'm overweight and I got 50 pounds to lose and I say, I'm going to lose 35 pounds this year, even if I lose 20, 25, 30, that is so much better. So in the big goals of the yearly goals, and when you're setting resolutions, be okay with maybe understanding that you'll fall short. But what you'll understand is I don't give up on them. I'll roll them into the next year. I'll build on them. And what's awesome is year after year, if you were to look at my goals, you'll notice they're very similar, but they build on themselves. And I've effectively crushed my goals from 2023, 2024. I'm just usually a little bit behind, but that momentum of trying to catch up to my goals has been really inspiring for me. And I think one of the biggest things you can do is give yourself that permission to fail, because failing is healthy. And the best way to be successful in anything, in my opinion, is to be comfortable with failing at it, is to understand I will mess up. I might have roadblocks. I might have detours. I might not live up to what I thought I could have. But every time I fall down, I get up and I keep working towards that. And when you do that, it's a lot more freeing and realistic. And I think people give up because they have hesitations where they'll have like a weight loss goal and they'll say, in January, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. They'll lose 4 or 5 pounds and they'll go out with some buddies and they'll undo it. And they'll be like, this is pointless. I'm a failure. It doesn't work. They'll be discouraged and then they'll resent fitness and they'll resent that goal and they'll push it far away because they just feel like they ruined everything. And it's natural for us to fail. It's natural for it to get hard. If you really struggled from Thanksgiving into the new year, it's totally natural. It's normal. And that's kind of what society does, unfortunately, right? It's cozy season. It starts with fall. You're getting pumpkin spice lattes. You're eating extra food. And then you roll into Thanksgiving. You overdo it a bit there. It gets dark and cold. You reach into comfort foods. And then you spend a great time at Christmas eating a lot of ton stuff, a bunch of Halloween candy. And before you know it, you could be up 10 pounds, right? If you don't have a plan to work against that. And that's where I think having a plan where you work towards it is absolutely everything. And with those year goals, I'll give myself more flexibility. Where I give myself less goals is when a goal and a time frame is more obtainable. So if I have a goal for the day, so for instance, yesterday, my goal quite simply was I had maybe 20 things I needed to do. I said, I'm going to wake up and I'm just going to work. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to take any breaks. Like now's my time to buckle down and get this done. And guess what? I still failed. There was still about 3 or 4 things I missed that I needed to get done. But I did like 16 things that I've been putting off that maybe I could have put off for weeks. So to me, like I was okay with that, right? And I'm still working to always achieve everything I can. But I do like to set goals that scare me because I find them more exciting and more real. And it just kind of, it makes you want to stand up and get after them. So it's a little bit of a framework shift. But from there, I also do think it's important you have goals you can hit, goals that are realistic. And even for me in the past, I've set really unobtainable goals, especially in the short term. And if there's no path to getting there short of a miracle, it's not going to inspire you. It's not going to cause you to want to get up and act, quite frankly. So instead, I'll look and say, what's obtainable for me this week? If I'm trying to lose 8 pounds this month, I could do 2 pounds a week. How does that look? What do my macros need to be at? And I can reverse engineer that. And those are super easy for me to hit. Those I'll never waver and I'll always make a point to hit. And especially when they're small, they're tangible and they're very straightforward. Sometimes like if you have a goal, like I want to become more wise this year, it's harder to quantify that, but you could break that down, right? You could say, I'm going to be wiser because I'm going to read 10 pages a day, no matter what. Maybe you can do even better than that. Or you can say, I'm going to read this many books. So I think just being realistic, but doing something that also does scare you, being willing to fail a little bit. It's a pivot towards the mindset, and it's a little different because I like to call it more tangible things as to how to make them stick. But for me, I think that mindset shift was very freeing. Checking in with myself to make sure I'm meeting these markers. I do a ton of accountability measures, and I want to make like a whole episode on this actually to make sure I'm living up to the things I want to do because they can get really lost. Like even with me and Kyle with our business tasks, like being on top of filming YouTube videos, filming podcasts, sending out quality motivating emails, making great stories, making great posts, reels. It can be real easy just to not think of it. So instead, we have accountability measures. We have like a social media calendar that'll remind us this is filming day. This is when you should be editing. This needs to get out this day. And doing that makes it that much easier for me to do it on default. I'll do a weekly rhythm register where I'll grade myself if I'm hitting the tangibles I want to hit each week. And I'll get a physical score at the end of the week to know if I'm in line with that. Another thing I've started doing was like a quality of my life. So I actually rate my sleep, my health, my work, and then just my life, which is very vague, but I'll rate them on a 1 to 10 scale. And then I'll get the average for the day and I'll average out the week. And it's actually really insightful to see like, am I living at a quality and standard of life I want? Where am I falling short? What needs to be fixed more? So that's been really fun as well. I use an actual spreadsheet that I use for my clients as well. And I'll track my macros, my energy, my workout intensity. And basically I'm just making sure all these different metrics are moving me along so I can be my most energized, motivated, inspirational self to actually hit these goals. Because when you're out of alignment of those things, there's no way you're going to hit your goals or push yourself into a season of new change without having the tools to equip yourself for that. So I veered off a bit, but obviously as we get into the new year, there's a lot of thoughts, a lot of reflection, and those are just some tips.
Yeah, and a lot of great goal setting. And honestly, I like that Josh mentioned the failure aspect because obviously resolutions, it's been proven roughly 90% of people don't end up achieving it. And what's so different, like if you end up just getting to the end of the year and you're like, hey, I tried, I set a really big goal and I failed. hey, you can learn from it. Josh has failed. We fail. You know what? Even if we put in more action, that's totally fine. But where it's tough is like there was a stat that said that most people don't even make it till February, right? And I'd say a big reason for that is what Josh was talking about in terms of failure, because when you do set this really big goal for the year and you do fail, you feel like a failure. You don't want to keep pushing forward. You don't want to try again. And I'll use some different examples and show you guys how silly it may seem, such as let's just say you set a goal for reading a certain amount. Let's just say the first month is just a little bit tough. You don't end up reading as much. Most people will say, you know what, like I tried anyways. It was a good goal. I'll keep reading this year. And then they do nothing else. Whereas someone like Josh or myself or our community or other driven people will say, okay, I only got 2 books this month. Next month, I'm going to make up for it. I'm going to absolutely crush it and then keep moving forward. So you see the difference in failure, whereas a lot of people, I'd say most people will end up quitting. And even if it's a weight loss goal, let's just say you do have the goal of 50, 100 pounds or whatever it is. If you're behind, most people will just say, you know what, like I'm behind. I can't get there anyways. I may as well stop. Like you see how ridiculous that sounds? So you have to be okay with failing. You have to be okay with falling down and getting back up. And something I heard this morning, actually, I was listening to, one of the motivational speakers said, I didn't lose, I learned. And I just love that, because if you do happen to make a mistake where, you end up going over on a day of eating, or you don't end up losing the amount of weight that you want in the first month, like use that as a lesson learned and keep pushing forward. And the last thing I'll say on this is that when it comes to goal setting, and I've mentioned this before, you need to have action steps. So I truly believe that when you are sitting down and thinking, hey, how can I make this stick? Set the goal and then put 3 bullet points below it. And those are going to be the things that you're going to do to get there. So for example, this year on YouTube, we want to hit 200,000 subscribers. So we're going to do 2 uploads a week. We're going to aim to do 1 daily short, and then just make our editing 10% better. Whether that's bringing on an editor, we're going to just do better with some effects and just try to learn and level up. So those are 3 things that we will do to get towards that goal, right? When it comes to fat loss, if you want to lose 20 pounds, you're going to hire a coach, you're going to track your calories daily, and then you're going to go to the gym following a routine. It's that simple, but you can't just say, I want to reach this goal, and then that's it, because you don't have the action steps to get there. And that's why a lot of people do fail as well. So just want to be honest with you. I want to see you succeed this year, and I want to see you crush it. And I truly believe you have what it takes.
Yeah, have some self-belief, have some patience, have some ability to exercise that patience with yourself, and just keep getting down when you fall up. And I assure you, that is the formula to success. That has been my secret. It's not a sexy one, but it 110% works. And I just want to take 2 seconds too. If you're new here, if you just discovered this podcast, like I'm Josh, that's Kyle, and we've been online fitness coaches now for just about 10 years, which is crazy. We've been uploading on YouTube. We have millions and millions, almost I think 50 million views now there on our YouTube, which is fantastic. We've been able to help a ton of people through our podcast. But what we're most proud of is that we have over 5,000 transformations in our online coaching program. So we're online coaches. Like I said, we've been doing that for 10 years, 5,000 transformations. We've helped people in every situation imaginable. And we like to come on here, give no BS, straightforward, science-based advice so that you can actually propel forward in your journey. If you like what you heard so far, and even for those of you that have been listening for a while, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, I recommend doing that, because it'll notify you more and you're going to get more info and everything good to go there. So once again, I just want to thank you for being here. And after we answer our first question, we like to get into a quote. And I have a quote I love, so I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. And my quote is from James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. And he said, "A habit missed once is a mistake. A habit missed twice is the start of a new habit." And that just I was like, wow, because I've really been going on this, and with my client check-ins, I'll send a weekly video check-in every week to my clients. We'll get back and forth, checking how they're doing nutritionally, training, accountability with their goals, and make sure they're in line in a good position for that. And similar to what I just told all of you, I'm like, hey, if we had a bad weekend here, it's really important we don't have 2 bad weekends, or we don't let that roll into another bad 2 days, because just as you can make good habits, and the more you make good habits, you form an identity around it, becomes your constant. Same for me. It'd be really weird if I didn't go to the gym, because I have so much history of just doing that week after week, day after day, showing up there, to where it feels weird if I'm not in the gym, which is absolutely fantastic. But just the same, you can create bad habits. Even through the holiday season, I got gifted some chocolates. I like a chocolate orange. I like the Reese Big Cups. So I was fitting it in my macros, but I was having a bit every night. And it was still fitting my macros. It was fine. But I started noticing I've never cared too much for sweets. But after I ate my dinner, I'd be like, I want something sweet. Like, where's some chocolate? And it's amazing how quickly things can become habits. And it's been said before that good habits take like almost 3 times as long to create as it does to create a bad habit, because it's tempting. It already can be quick and easy, and it can feel like a solution when it isn't. So I think it's really important, the never miss twice rule. If you miss, you fall short, something isn't perfect, you get back to it and you get back on that wagon, you get back to what you know works. And I think this is just fantastic, like said in such a great way, honestly. So once again, a habit missed once is a mistake. A habit missed twice is the start of a new habit.
Honestly, if I were to give you one thing to think about this year, it's if you can create a solid list of habits, like on one side of things you do, you will be successful. Because anyone who doesn't succeed this year, typically they just have really bad habits. They go to bed late, they eat too much, they skip the gym. Like, thinking about the bad habits, that's why people don't succeed. Whereas on the other side, it's like, hey, I wake up on time, I eat the same breakfast, I do my cardio, I don't skip my workouts. Like, just create those habits and systems and you will absolutely be unstoppable. So on that note, I saw something from Alex Hermosi, and it's a little bit deeper here, but I really liked it. If you don't have confidence, build evidence. If you don't have evidence, build skills. If you don't have skills, build discipline. If you don't have discipline, you need to reframe the things you've done in the past and realize you actually do have discipline, but just in different domains. You have the core skill, you just need to apply it to a new domain. And so what I really liked about this, like the main messaging, especially in the end of that speech that he had, was just that you absolutely do have what it takes, especially when it comes to nutrition and health. A lot of people are scared and they feel like they just can't do it because it's not what they're good at. You know, like, you're really good at other things such as family life, work life, and you have discipline in so many other areas. And I've worked with a lot of amazing people like this, but when they realize that they actually do have discipline and that's actually going to end up leading to confidence, they're like, I actually can do this. Like, I do have what it takes. So I'd say one of the best ways to build up this discipline is just take note of all the amazing things that you've done in the past, whether you have built an amazing family, a successful business, an amazing career, you have great relationships, and realize like that all does take discipline. And if you took that discipline and applied it to your health, your fitness, and everything that you're doing on your journey, you will absolutely be unstoppable. But you just have to realize you absolutely do have what it takes and you can do it. You just have to care enough, right? Because I'd say a lot of people end up caring about all these other things, such as family, work, everything like that. But then fitness and health are like, well, I'll get to it one day, and they just don't care as much. So you do have what it takes. And I truly believe in you this year, and I can't wait to see you succeed.
And I just want to take a second for everyone behind the scenes. I want to thank our producer here, Bentley. He's here every episode, just making it tough, wanting to go in and out while we're filming and doing different things like that. And it's a good reminder that we're on video. I don't know if you've ever watched us on video. If you haven't, maybe take a sec to say what up. We've got me and Kyle here, and we've got Bentley now in the shot. Maybe one day we'll have him as a guest, but we're on video. We're here for YouTube. We're here for Spotify. We're here for iTunes, whatever works best for you. There's flexibility. So if you use multiple platforms, make sure you subscribe and don't miss out.
And I just want to give a quick shout out because Coach Josh, I'm sure you've heard him mention Bentley, his dog. He wanted to get him down a couple pounds just this year, and he's done it. He's lost quite a few pounds, and he's done that from regulation of calorie intake and just simply moving more, which is just pretty cool because I think of it a lot. Like, a lot of people will say calories in, calories out doesn't work, but the truth is, like, whether it's a dog, whether it's a person, if you just simply move more and end up eating less, you'll be absolutely unstoppable and you'll be in a calorie deficit, which will help you lose weight. So I thought that was pretty fun to share.
Yeah, and it is a very separate note, but it is pretty crazy even. I know some people that don't take care of themselves, and Kyle's mentioned he actually knows some people that will spend more on their animals' food than they will their own, or they'll focus more on their animals' health. Like, even for me, it's obvious to me if my dog's overweight, he's like 7 pounds overweight and he's only a 30-pound dog, that's going to take a toll. It's going to be bad on his hips. It's going to affect his health as he gets older. He's actually turning 6 in February, which is crazy. Like, time flies. Like, I think towards the start of this podcast, he was a puppy, which is crazy. But just the same, right? Like, it's obvious to us we don't want to do that. Later in his life, I don't want to be paying big medical bills. I don't want his quality of life to suck. I don't want him them to not be able to run and play with me in the backyard. But it's so easy to like focus on that. But when it comes to our own self, that's where we get a little sensitive and we're like, well, I eat clean enough, or I'll figure it out later. I'll get in the gym later. So I think it's just a good reminder, when there's something you want to fix, just fix it. Especially if you look at it like from a quantitative perspective of like, what are the numbers? What are the change? And that's what's amazing with our coaching. It's so black and white to us. 5,000 transformations later, I assure you, whatever excuse, roadblock, barrier you think you have, I assure you there's a solution, and a solution that can be easily solved. And the nice thing as well is when you start learning to do it the right way, you can carry that forward. You can use that momentum. You can forge that new identity, which is so fantastic. So a fun little pivot there. I figured we'll start the year with something fun and get Bentley back on the podcast. He used to make a couple guest appearances, and we'll have to get the other producer, Kyle's dog, Dakota, on, and maybe Bear as well. So we'll get all the boys on before you know it. But we like to jump into our thoughts. Obviously, with the new year, we have a lot of different thoughts. So I'm just going to jump into mine first. So I'm really just reflected more on the power of what you consume and how easy it can be to be influenced by that, right? So we mentioned Instagram a lot last week, being excessively on there. Social media in general, obviously, if you're watching a ton of the news, it can feel really depressing, right? Because you're just hearing all these sensationalized, horrible things that happen. It's not to say you shouldn't be informed, but it's likely, well, it isn't the healthiest to be consuming that all day, because it's going to make you feel more fearful and afraid. Whereas just the same, if all of your influences are telling you to push yourself, to become your best self, to live life to the fullest, to be your healthiest self, it's incredibly motivating. So one thing I like to do each year is I made a new vision board. I have that as the background of my MacBook, and every single day I look at it. And I actually looked it up. So even on your phone, it says that you look at your phone about 100 times a day for a normal person. Heavy users will be 200 to 300 times. So to me, I feel like I get a little advantage, because every day when I go on my computer, I'm instantly met with motivation from my vision board. I have things I'm aspiring to do. I have a photo of my family. I have so many different mantras and things I'm trying to remember, and it just motivates me day in, day out. My wallpaper, quite simply, is work harder, become better. And every single day when I like don't want to work, I see that and I'm like, you know what? It's true. Anything you work harder at, you will become better at. If you work hard at your health, you'll become better at it. If you work harder at your relationships will improve. If you work harder as a parent, you'll become a better parent. So to me, it's a constant reminder, and these little inputs can be so powerful for you. So it's a tiny thing, but even in this year, I would challenge you to reevaluate your inputs. Give yourself little opportunities of extra motivation. I've seen people actually put their goals as their wallpaper, which I've absolutely loved. I've done that previously as well. I sometimes feel like when there's too many things there, it doesn't work. I've seen a lot of vision board wallpapers on their phone, on their computer, whatever works for you, whatever gets you excited, but just work on those inputs. Limit media, try to bring the best inputs as you can into your life this year. Get inspired. I mean, you're already listening to this podcast, which is absolutely amazing. Just a small, fun little hack I wanted to share.
Yeah, honestly, like another massive tip. I really think that if you're going to succeed within your goals, even like this year, you need those constant reminders. Just even like sticky notes could work for some people, right? When you sit down at your desk, even I know Josh has like, let's say a whiteboard right behind, which is really cool. So like these things are very, very powerful. And I find like one of the best ways to succeed is just having those reminders, because even myself, like to this day, sometimes I'll forget about like an email that I was going to send out. And then every Monday it's habitual, but every Thursday I forget. But then I have a reminder that comes up at 8:05 a.m. And so if I haven't done it, then I'll just jump on my laptop and make sure it gets done. So it's like these little things that can lead to success. A lot of people overlook it because it's easy to, right? You forget about it. So yeah, I thought that was great. Now, the one thing I've indirectly been doing, actually today, the day we're filming this, I'm going to be doing my big brainstorm for the year, which is, right now, actually December 31st. But I've been indirectly reflecting on this past year just from putting together content. And even the other day, I put together a video. And if you're not following us on Instagram, once again, I know you've already got the fat loss guide, but just make sure to hit that follow button and check out our content, because every single day we're posting fire. We're posting tips, we're posting motivation, we're going to help you out. But I put together a video from 12 years ago when we first filmed our YouTube videos. And what I had said was just a reminder, everybody starts somewhere. And I really love this stuff, because like talking about confidence, talking about skills and everything I've been sharing today, it's so powerful when you look back on the past and realize how far you've come. And so we've done such great things. I'm very proud of the both of us and our team as well. Like 12 years ago, taking that leap for YouTube. 7 years ago, starting the podcast. This past year, I put together our 2025 recap post. So many amazing milestones that we've hit. 500 plus transformations. We started 6 weeks in Florida, which was great. Filmed tons of amazing content. We've just done a lot of really cool things. So once again, I feel like one of the best things you can do to help your motivation going forward is to also realize what you've done in the past, be able to celebrate it, reflect, and I think it's so powerful. If you haven't done that, make sure to do it because it definitely can give you some good fire for this 2026 ahead.
Yeah, and now we're going to go ahead and showcase one of our clients who's absolutely crushed it. Who do we got this week?
Yeah, and like as I was doing that reflecting, it's just some of our top 2025 transformations. We actually ended up, I ended up counting and we had close to 500, which is absolutely phenomenal. Just people come through the program. A lot of clients that have actually been with us for years. So like some of the transformations have been ongoing for years, which is awesome. Some are newer and just within a 90-day time frame. But I'm so grateful like when I do spend time reflecting on like what we're able to do, whether it's like be able to go on a trip and still be able to help people out. I know that every single day when we film a podcast, when we send messages to our clients, when we film content, we're helping people out. And for those of you who have trusted Colossus Fitness and the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, and you've invested in yourself, I just want to give you some credit where credit's due because we're just so proud of every single person. A lot of our clients have even done like 4 entire challenges in a year. Like this past year, we did 4 challenges. Some people have just crushed them. They've got like, I was saying to one of my clients recently, you're going to have every one of our t-shirts that we've put out, which is cool. And so I'm just so grateful. I love our clients. I love our community. And I'm excited. Like if you want to see success as well, just feel free to message us. We respond to every single message and we will do whatever it takes to see you succeed. So if you have any questions about how the coaching program works, if you want to share your goals, if you want to just talk to us, we will always be in the DMs. We will be there multiple hours a day and we're here to help you. So shout out to every single one of our amazing clients in 2025.
Awesome. Big shout out to the clients, and our challenge is starting tomorrow. I'm so fired up. By the next time you hear me on Motivation Monday, you're going to hear about how much progress I make. Like challenges are these opportunities where you can make like massive progress. Think of it this way. Like if a normal journey, you clean your house, you maintain it normally. It's like when you do a deep clean, a deep tidy, like you just feel so inspired because you're just going all in, right? And you're just really trying to get yourself to an even better place. So that's what I like to see a challenge as. Unfortunately, registration for that is closed now. And this is exclusively for our coaching clients because we only believe in things that work, things that stick. And to me, it breaks my heart when people start, they want to see progress and they can't. And that's where having accountability, having someone on your side to make you a custom routine that's exactly made for you, your gym, your situation, your experience level, getting a custom nutrition plan that works for you and your life and allowing you to go out with no food restrictions, be able to eat whatever you want and to learn how to do that while still losing a ton of fat and building a ton of muscle, and having the accountability and just support and confidence to see that through is just absolutely everything. So this challenge is going to be huge. We're going to keep you updated on that. There will be opportunities, I'm sure, in the future to join in for future challenges. We did fill up obviously with this challenge, but if you'd like to learn more about our coaching as well, you can always just check out our website. You can learn more there. You can apply. We're not accepting people right at this moment, but we'll put you into a queue. And as soon as spots come available, we'll respond back if that's something you're looking to do. But now we're going to jump into our second question, which is actually a coaching based question, which is really convenient. So it is, I am relatively new to the gym and seeing okay progress. I hear you guys say everyone should have a coach, but I'm guessing this wouldn't apply to me because I'm seeing progress on my own and I'm not very advanced. Curious if I'm missing out or not. And it's funny, immediately what comes to mind is a book I read called The Ego is the Enemy. And I'm definitely someone who can have an ego. I'm a confident person. I think that's helped me in a lot of areas of my life. But at the same time, I would argue it's become, even as I matured and I've grown, it's become one of my biggest shortcomings. When I started in the gym, I saw crazy progress. I got a lot of attention. I had other influencers, like I remember Omar Isif shouted out my progress because I was like 220, 230, relatively lean. I was 17 years old, had a good build. I was deadlifting well over 400 pounds, squatting 400 pounds. And I felt like the man. I knew everything there was to know about fitness. I was the smartest person ever, and I saw the best progress I could have. Clearly, absolutely not. It's amazing, even for the amazing progress I saw, how many mistakes I made. And I wish I could go back and just like hire a coach to even foster that more, because I could have been so much more elite. I could have saved like 2 years of floating sideways, of some unnecessary injuries from some small changes I could have made. Like I could have been such at such a higher level so much faster by getting a coach, and I could have saved so much of that pain and struggle and seen even more rapid progress. And I think even to this question, like, okay, progress is not where you want to be, especially when you're new. Like when I get someone who's very new to the gym signing up to my program, there's a reason we help people all the time lose 20 pounds of fat and gain 10 to 15 pounds of lean muscle in 90 days, because we're optimizing everything: training, nutrition, accountability, behind the scenes factors like water, sleep, supplementation. We're on top of everything as your coach to make sure it's streamlined and you can see the best progress. And what's tough with a gym is anyone who comes in is naturally going to get stronger. It's funny. Kyle reached out to someone. They're going to sign up, and they decided to go on their own. And he reached out and said, "How's it going?" And they said they're getting stronger. And it's funny because Kyle said one thing he's learned as a personal trainer: whenever someone isn't seeing progress that they should, they'll say they're getting stronger. And as a personal trainer, I remember that too, because it's kind of like a cop out. But the reality is, anything you do frequently, you're naturally going to get stronger. That's kind of a given, right? And it can be such a, like I said, a fail safe, a cop out to like kind of get in front of you and shield you from the fact why you're not making progress. And when you're new, it's real easy to see progress, to gain a bit of strength. It's easier to lose fat. But as you get more in the trenches and you get to more of the elite areas where you need to really know what to do, this is where people will fall off, and usually they'll go right back. Dr. Lane Norton said America doesn't have a weight loss problem. Anyone can lose weight. You stop eating garbage, you go to bed on time, you start working out, you're going to lose weight. It's learning how to do that consistently. So it was America doesn't have a weight loss problem. They have a weight regain problem. And I'm sure you've lost weight before and gained it back. And that's because you haven't gone about it right. Not having support through that is the biggest mistake. So that's why I really, truly recommend everyone to have a coach. And myself, I wish I had a coach. And at the very least, if you don't have a coach, like, hold yourself accountable, right? Have a friend that you can check into, or someone who's going to call you out if you're slacking. Make sure you're tracking your data. Make sure you're tuning in with us. Like, have different sources of accountability. It's not going to substitute for having a full coach, because like I said, it's hiring someone to fully hold you accountable, to be there to actually remove the emotional aspect of this whole process and to guide you through that. Because I'll have people that are like, I feel like I don't feel good this week. I had a bad weekend. Let's cut calories like crazy. I'm like, whoa, this isn't going to help, because you're going to cut calories, you're going to be radical, then you're going to rebound from that, you're going to gain more weight. Like, I can catch people falling before they've fallen. And also too, like, people that see progress, like, there's high level things you need to do, like diet breaks, carb refeeds, reverse diets. Like, these tools are there for a reason, and they're really effective. And also understanding macros and understanding training routines and progressive overload and daily underlying periodization. Like, I know these sound buzzy, but these are actually really important. There's a lot of buzzwords, there's a lot of nonsense, but these are things I wholeheartedly believe in. And when you're with a coach, you can see like 5 times better progress. So I think this is a phenomenal question. And I totally agree too, because I can understand it's like, I'm making progress. What's wrong with that? But especially if you have big ambitions and big goals, to me, it's like, why settle just for average? Why settle for a little bit of progress? Like, why not eke out as much as you can in a healthy and sustainable way? And that's where our program is different. There's other coaches where you can lose 20 pounds in a month. You're going to be miserable. You're going to be half dead. You're not going to be able to get out of bed in the morning. You're going to be starving and mad at everyone. You're going to yell at your mom when she calls you because you're going to be so hungry. You don't want to live like that. That's why for us, like, it's all about sustainability, doing it for life, and giving you the tools. Like, when you sign up with us, even if you come in for a 90-day accelerator, you're going to have those tools for the rest of your life. You're going to know, like, shoot, I gained a bit of weight over the holidays. Here's how I can adjust. Here's what I need to do to get that off. And that is power, because you're in control. Like Kyle said earlier, it just becomes a numbers game, and you can learn how to do that all through coaching. So obviously tuning my horn a bit there, but I really believe in what I do. And I like having an impact on people's lives. That's why I love this podcast, but I can only do so much, and I can't force you to listen to me. You can listen to this, nod along, get fired up, and put it all out of one ear and just go back to bad habits at night. With coaching, I'm there directly on your side to see you through it. So no pressure. If you want to learn more about it, my website is colossfitness.com. You can click that link. We are full right now, but we'll go through in chronological order as spots to open. Obviously a big rush with the New Year's and the challenge, but we'd love to help you out one-on-one. And I believe everyone deserves to have their dream body.
Yeah, I always say, we say good is the enemy of great. That's something that we believe in a lot, and it's pretty powerful. We love helping people go from good to great. And even just the key word in this question saying, I'm seeing okay progress, like Josh said, why not phenomenal progress? Why not excellent? Why not great? But even myself, like looking back on my journey, especially in the beginning stages, man, oh man, I wasted a lot of time, money, and energy. And like, once again, similar to Josh, I saw results. Like, don't get me wrong. I built some muscle. I was pretty happy with everything. Like I did some really cool things, but there was a lot that I really messed up on. And I'll talk more about my journey in this upcoming year, but just a few mistakes was like, I just remember spending anywhere between $300 and $400 a month on just like nonsense, right? Like that alone will cover the cover the cost of a coach, and it'll actually help you see change. But I just remember going on bodybuilding.com because I thought I knew better. Like if I had a coach say, hey, you don't need any of this, which is what I say to my clients, I would have saved a lot of money and I would have gotten way better results. But I was buying stuff like citrulline malate. I remember buying mass gainers that I didn't actually need. I remember buying, like, I was trying to build muscle and I was trying to take a fat burner, and then I would take all these different like random pills and stuff like that. So like just having someone, and that's where like the actual customization of a coach makes such a big difference, because they'll tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And even my past shoulder injury, I haven't shared too much about it, but that was just because I was like doing things myself. Like I did 3 upper body days in a row bench press, and I thought it would be smart to do that. And I just thought I knew better. And to this day, my shoulder bothers me because I didn't have anyone to check in with on that. I just thought that was normal and like that would be cool to do. Whereas even now, like I have a lot of clients where, some people are older, they have questions. They say, hey, like my shoulders bother me a bit. What do I do? And I'm able to give them an actual plan to prevent any further injuries and to actually help them out. Because if you make decisions on your own, even if you're doing well in the gym, there will be obstacles. There will be times where we need to change the workout routine based off of something that comes up. There will be times where we need to work around the holidays and a trip and all that other stuff. And you can do some stuff on your own, but you're usually going to make the wrong choices because you're emotionally attached. So just something to think about as we start 2026 off strong. We're always here for you. And I've made a lot of mistakes, and I really wish I hired a coach at the very beginning.
I believe, especially as you go into the new year, your most precious resource is time. Time is the most valuable thing. And one of my neighbors, unfortunately, got hit on his motorcycle and hurt his leg. And I saw him walking yesterday. I said, good on you, man. Like, it's icy, it's cold, you're out walking. And he said, yeah, except it didn't heal properly. So they have to re-break my leg, and I got to restart this whole process. So he's like, not only did I waste half a year, I'm going to waste another year. And I felt his pain because I dislocated my shoulder at the start of this year, and it was just like 5 months of nonsense. Like, I'm just trying to do basic things I would do every single day, like reach up or anything like that. I just couldn't do it. I had to retrain and relearn it. And just the same, like, you can waste so much time by making little mistakes. You can waste time doing stupid diets, suffering, missing social events for no reason when you don't have to. You can waste time because you could be on the wrong program, hurt yourself in the gym, and you could have a recurring issue for the rest of your life. And it's so unfortunate that you could do things right 99 of 100. If you make one stupid mistake, you can cause yourself a lot of pain. The great news is you can avoid a lot of that by having better habits, by having understandings, by having accountability, by not going about it the wrong way. There's so many people, especially younger people, right? Because we have those egos. We're ready to take on the world. We feel like we know everything. Sometimes having more of a veteran person say, hey, less is more. This is why this isn't smart. Let's rework that. Like, even Kyle could have had none of this shoulder headache, which has caused him a lot of headache, a lot of pain, by just not doing something very obviously silly, which is 3 upper body days in a row of really heavy, right? And it sounds so silly, but in that moment, it's fun for him. He's pumping it up in the gym. He likes upper. He wants a huge chest. So just something to think about, even for the people that are older. If you don't take your nutrition seriously, unfortunately, you can get forced to. Like, that's what always kills me, and it really hurts me to say, especially with the scholarship, hearing and seeing people that have diabetes because of bad habits, that have other health issues, that have high blood, like, it's really sad. And it's one of those things where it'll force you to take it serious, but it's almost like too late. It's not to say it's too late per se, but you can get in front of that now by just making small changes, and it doesn't need to take away from your life. If anything, it's going to add to your life and make you feel that much better. But now we're going to jump into our third and final question out of the mailbag, and that is, what are some of the worst diet trends you saw this past year? And I haven't seen as many, but Kyle has a phenomenal list here, and I haven't even heard of some of these, which is crazy. But one thing I think is the most nuts, and I even saw a reel on it, and I just totally agreed. And it's like crazy to think society has brainwashed us to thinking that eating Crave cookies, eating a bunch of fried chicken, going out for dinners, like eating whatever you want and having a glass of wine at night is like totally normal. But the second you start eating like a healthy dinner, like steak and some fruit, and eating like lean chicken and rice, and like making good high level decisions, like that is excessive. That's unrealistic. That's like compulsive, and it's like bad behavior. And I think that's what's the craziest. I think more and more it's being normalized just to be immensely unhealthy, to have horrible habits, to suck all day and just eat garbage and then complain about why you don't feel good. So to me, like, I think reverting away from that and being okay saying like, I'm going to live my life. I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. And when you feel that pivot of like we've all been there where we've overdone it, you do not feel good. You feel horrible, right? Whereas when you have a good day of eating, you get to bed on time, you crush a workout, you spend time with family and friends, you feel like gold. And even for me, it's awesome like doing that, like just actually grading myself on like my life, my health, all these different things, because I can see where I'm lacking and I can actually see what days I feel the best and most aligned. And it's always when I sleep the best, I'm eating good food, I'm living in line with my purpose, always is what makes me feel the best, not the things that you think would, like going for cheap dopamine, right? Instead, going for that high level dopamine. So, not necessarily a trend, but definitely a reflection. I think even as obesity rates climb, like it's become more normal to be extremely unhealthy. And I think that shouldn't be normalized as much as being healthy should be renormalized. So, I think working against that and being aware you're fighting this losing battle because people just aren't going to accept it. And I think one great line you can always use if people are like, why aren't you having cake? Or why aren't you eating pizza here? And why do you need to eat at home? Just saying, I'm just doing what makes me feel best. And I just like feeling my best. I think that's one of the best things you can say. And it's something I've been using. And this is what makes me feel best. Hey, why aren't you drinking tonight? This is what makes me feel best. Like, I don't want it right now. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think you shouldn't be apologetic for wanting to live a high level life.
What's funny is actually similar to Josh. I haven't like seen a whole lot. I went to go do like a recap of like some crazy diets for this past year. And for the first time, I just wasn't able to like sit down and think of like a crazy amount. I think I've just been so focused on like what I've been trying to do. I just feel like it's normal now to have these things come out and I just block them out completely. But for the sake of learning, what I really gathered from looking at these types of diets is that most people's issue is just doing something extreme, right? And that's where it's like so funny because like I think people get so desperate to see change and they can't do something where it's just like, hey, I'm just eating healthy and moving more. Like that doesn't sound crazy for them. Whereas if you say, I'm doing a water only fast and I'm, doing something crazy. Like I can't think of it right now, but it's like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool. So some newer trends this past year, like I saw it's called fiber maxing, where people will eat like 50 to 100 grams of fiber a day for gut health. And they're just like trying to max it out completely, which is just going to cause you to obviously be it's going to cause discomfort, right? You're going to be bloated, there's going to be gas. And like, it's funny because even on that note, like I've seen some different trends, like just a little bit called looks maxing, which is just like you're doing these crazy things to get the best looks possible, such as surgeries. I know there's this one guy going around clavicular online and basically he's doing everything possible to be the best looking and like surgeries, injections, like all this other stuff. And like, that's extreme, right? And then even on TikTok, there was another thing that, and once again, I had to look these things up because I wasn't fully aware, but it's called skinny talk, where you're just glorifying extreme restriction, right? Another very common thing that a lot of people have been doing, carnivore. It's obviously just very, very extreme. You're only able to eat a certain type of food. It's going to miss out on essential nutrients, antioxidants, all that stuff. And you're only really having, meat and stuff. And so with that, like the main thing to think about as you're listening to this year, our podcast, is just try to set something up that's realistic. Don't be someone that says, you know what, I'm only having water and I'm doing a water fast, or I'm only doing this extreme intermittent fasting diet that just has this crazy protocol that I can't stick to. And I find that anytime there's new trends or even trends that have gone on in the past, it's just trying to do something so extreme because it sounds cool, because it sounds unique. It may give you that promise that you're going to lose 20 pounds in a week because you're starving yourself or because you're doing this crazy protocol. Another thing is obviously specific drugs, around GLP-1, Ozempic, Wegovy, and there's going to be even more. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest trends that's continuously happening, which is not solving the problem. You're just taking this pill, you're taking these, putting these things in your body, and you're not actually solving a true problem. So We're going to talk about it in future episodes, but I really encourage you, do something sustainable. Focus on making better decisions each day. Focus on habit building. Don't give in to any of these trends, because I know a lot of people right now, they're feeling desperate. They feel like they need to do something crazy. So I want to warn you again. I want to warn against doing stuff like this.
Yeah, so we're just here to keep it real with you. We want to be great sources of inspiration. We want you to live your fittest, healthiest, and happiest life. And nothing makes me feel better than someone who's struggling, who can't figure it out, getting it, having a path to success, having a path to actually being in progress. Because I assure you, it's such a radical change in how you feel. And when you feel your best and you're progressing and you're in line and your body feels nice, you sleep better, you have more energy, you're more excited, you're more pleasant to be around, you're more inspired to do things and take on challenge. And that's how I want to encourage you to live this year and to feel your absolute best. So a great free way to lose fat, to get high level information totally free, 33 pages. Grab that fat loss guide from my Instagram @ColossusFit. I also have it in the show notes if you need help spelling that out. The logo will be the same as our podcast logo here. And just message me fat loss guide and I will send that right over to you. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and be back here on Thursday for an incredible episode as well. Every Monday, Thursday, we show up. So I want to thank you for tuning in. Peace out.